News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.
Now, from the 5th floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, DFW Metroplex. Welcome to Inside Real Estate. Mike Kruizinga here, your local Dallas-Fort Worth area realtor. It's time for a little real estate talk. We're going to talk a little insurance, a little bit of mortgage, and all kinds of good stuff. Toss in a little sports and entertainment when we can. If you hadn't figured it out by yet, this is one of the wildest and craziest real estate shows, supposed real estate shows you're ever going to hear. We talk about all kinds of things. You know what real estate is about? Life. And because guess what? Real estate is our home. We live there. And what do we do there? We live our life. So we talk about all kinds of things. And if you've ever worked with me, you know I'm fairly fun and entertaining, and I'm not just all black and white contract paperwork, although I know all that black and white paperwork really, really well, but at least I make it fun for you. So welcome, come on in, stay a while. Let's talk a little bit of real estate. Hey, here's what we're going to do today. Okay. Coming up around 8:13, 8:15, we're going to be talking insurance talk. You know, we usually do that, and we always learn a lot of great things from J.C. Harder from the J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency. He's our exclusive insurance provider. He and Patty, his wife, are amazing people, and we always love talking to them, and we always learn a lot of great things from them because, you know what, insurance, we talk about our home and all those things that go along with it, but insurance has such a huge impact on it. So we learn a lot of great stuff from him all the time. And so we're going to be talking to him today, 8:13, 8:15. End of the show, around 8:40, towards the end of the show, we're going to be doing mortgage talk. And we're going to be talking with Terry Wagner of Supreme Lending Rockwall. You know, Supreme Lending Rockwall is our exclusive lending partner of the radio show and part of our network. And so we're going to be talking with Terry about a lot of good stuff for mortgage. And, as we're moving into the end of the year, there's a lot of things that you kind of need to think about when it comes to your mortgage and your mortgage finances, escrow account, etc. And so we're going to talk about with Terry those end of year items that you need to be looking out for and that you need to take care of. So you want to stay tuned for that, and that's going to be coming up towards the end of the show, probably around 8:40, 8:41 ish. And then we're going to do a little bit of headlines and some sports and all kinds of things along the way. So website insiderealestateradio.com, insiderealestateradio.com for everything there. You can connect with us, all of our partners, hit the archive page for all the past shows. And by the way, we've had some technical difficulties with that archive page lately for whatever reason. I blame it on the hosting provider, and trust me, I've been giving them what for. So we're kind of redoing that right now, and we will get all that squared away for you guys out there. Now, if you're thinking about advertising on the show, you can hook up with me there at the website. You can also hook over to our real estate website from there, the DFW MetroplexRealEstate.com website. And we got a heck of a lot of websites out there, but from there you can connect and get anything and everything you want. Mainly, the main thing, folks, is just call me if you need to do anything in real estate, buying, selling, both, investing. My phone number is probably the most important thing on there. So hit my phone number, hit my email, text me, whatever you need to do. That's the most important information. But, of course, if you want to search for properties, all that type of stuff, you can get to that from there as well. PSAs, if you're in high school sports, you want to be part of our high school sports segment, you can give me a shout as well. Everything is right there. By the way, don't forget the app, DFW Metroplex Real Estate app. You can search that in your App Store, whether it's iPhone or Droid. Both formats are available. Just punch in DFW Metroplex Real Estate. Boom, we're right there. That gives you a quick way to search all the properties in the DFW area with no hassles of pop-up ads or all that nonsense. And then you can just text, call me, etc. from the app, and I can get you all the answers you need on any of those properties you might have interested in. So that's all the information right there. Let's get on into this day in history. Every show I usually like to head back in time and see what exactly happened this day in time. And Sunday, December 13th. And so let's head back in time. It was a little slim back in time. It really was. There wasn't too much going on. 1961. Jimmy Dean's Big Bad John album is country music's first $1 million seller. Now, back in 1961, that was a really big deal, and most of you remember the Big Bad John song. The one where it goes, standing 6'6", weighing 246. That guy, that song, and that one always stuck in my head. That was the first $1 million one back in 1961. But if I'm saying that, I'm reaching pretty deep because there wasn't a lot going on in this day in history. 1975, first time Saturday Night Live used a time delay. And, of course, they had to because guess who was hosting? Richard Pryor. And you never knew what he was going to do or say. And so they used the time delay on that one for their first time ever. Going to 2000, Al Gore delivered his concession speech to George Bush. 2003, former Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was captured near his hometown of Tikrit. So obviously that was a big deal, a big day in history, and that was on December 13th, going back to 2003. And that's pretty much this day in history. Last week we talked about, last Sunday was the 6th, and the 7th, Monday, the day after, was Pearl Harbor Day. And we talked quite a bit about that. And if you're watching football that day, the pregame show they actually did on Fox, Terry Howie and the guys were out in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, and they did a really great special with the military out there. And, so if you watch probably, in my opinion, the best pregame show that there is, which is on Fox there. Terry Howie and all those guys, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan. Those guys are great. I think I'm super entertained by those guys, and they did a great segment on the Pearl Harbor last Sunday. So that was pretty sweet. Well, folks, look, we also want to talk a little bit about some things that I tried to get to last week, but I didn't necessarily have enough time. We wanted to talk about vetting buyers, why it's a good time to sell right now, and also why, if you have major repairs out there on your properties, that you're not stuck. And so we're going to kind of get into these things a little bit more in depth. And I'm going to start with the major repair section because a lot of folks think that if they got some serious repairs to do to their house, particularly, let's say, foundation, and foundation work tends to be the number one thing that people are worried about. And, you walk into somebody's house and it's sloping, to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, or maybe all four corners, or maybe it's sort of a valley in the middle. And they know it's a major issue. They know it's going to be a big-time cost. And they feel like they're stuck because maybe they don't have the cash necessarily to do those repairs. But if you have the equity in your property, and honestly, most people do have equity in their property right now. The prices have gone up so high in the DFW area that pretty much everyone has equity in their property. And we've talked about it before. Even if you only bought maybe last year or the year before, in a normal market, you're probably not going to have equity yet because generally you're looking at maybe 5 years to build up some equity in a property if you're putting minimal amount down, which most people do. However, the way the market is right now and being in the position that it's in, even if you bought a couple years ago, even a year ago, I'm seeing a lot of you are in a good enough situation to walk away with cash in your pocket. So you've got some equity. So even if you bought recently, you should be okay. But if you've been in a property a length of time and you feel like you're stuck there because you do have maybe foundation or major repairs to do and you can't sell it, well, I'm here to tell you that is not true because we work with some great vendors here at the radio show that are part of our network, and we're able to get that repair or repairs done for you with these vendors, and so that you can pay at closing out of the proceeds of your house, so long as you've got some equity in your house. Now, obviously we've got to run the numbers and make sure that, we can take care of getting these vendors paid at closing after we sell your property. There needs to be some equity there. And of course, also you have to also agree to the fact that, look, if for some reason your property didn't sell, obviously you're going to have to pay these vendors, and they've got financing programs that you can finance the products and services that you're purchasing. But right now we're in such a great market, you don't have to really worry about that. And of course, we're not going to come in there and tell you, hey, we're going to be able to sell and take care of this for you if we can't do it. So we're not in the business of doing that. So we come out there, we check out your place, and we get some estimates in there for you. We run all the numbers, and if it works, it's going to work, and we'll get you out of there. For example, I had two just this past week. I had to do, these are listings that we're going to be bringing on market pretty soon. Both of them needed foundation work repair. They're also both going to need flooring, and they're also going to need some paint and a few other touch-ups, stuff like that. But foundation is a big expense, and so the vendor that we work with will take payment at closing out of the proceeds of the sale. So, instead of coming out of pocket $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a foundation job, we are able to take care of that at closing for you through our relationship with the vendor. Now, in addition to working with us and letting us help you do this, you're also going to have access to our real estate discounts through these vendors, which is if you went to these vendors direct yourself, you would be paying a higher price. We've established these relationships and have great working relationships with these vendors so that we can give you a discount. So not only are you going to be able to pay at closing, but you're also going to get our real estate preferred discounts, which is absolutely huge. So that's huge, folks. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in a foundation job, and we can get that paid at closing. Now, of course, they're not going to let you have your house on the market forever, but the reason why we're getting your foundation work done and getting your house prepped and ready to go is so it can sell quickly in a timely manner. And most of these vendors are going to give us 30 to 45 to 60 days on market, and that should be plenty enough to get your home marketed, under contract, and then sold, because once we get it under contract, we are good to go. Same thing with our flooring provider. As you know, I've had Kevin Hamus here on the show, owner of Ideal Floors, and absolute same thing. He was out to those same two listings what we need foundation work done on, and they were giving us quotes these past weeks so they can get that done after the foundation work's done. We get these homes up and rolling, get them marketed and sold, and guess what? They're taking payment at closing. And now, of course, you do have to, make sure that you sign up for their alternate financing plan, so that if for whatever reason, and things are unpredictable, let's say you're, for some reason, all of a sudden you get a bad neighbor moving in and they got these 22 pit bulls. Well, that's going to impact us selling your house, right? And, we can't predict that that's going to happen. So if something like that did happen, then obviously you have to do the long-term financing with the product or service that you bought. But generally, those types of things you don't have to worry about, and we get you on market and get you sold. So don't think that you are stuck out there with, some major issues in your home. And folks, these people out there need our help. And if you're out there and you're thinking, wow, I really do need some help. I mean, I'm sitting in this house and maybe the flooring is gone. Maybe we had an issue and we just don't have the money to do it, but you did want to sell and you did want to move on. You've got equity in your house, because a lot of people may be sitting there, not have a lot of money in the bank account, but maybe get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 equity in your house, and you did want to move. Guess what? We can make that happen. You've got enough equity in there to make these repairs, not come out of pocket, sell, take the money and use it as a down payment to the next house and move on. Whether you want to downsize, upgrade, you just need to move closer to work, whatever the situation is, don't think you are stuck. Give me a call, talk to me. We'll figure the situation out for you. And working with our lender, working with our insurance people, all of our vendors in the home improvement categories, we'll work with them, and we will absolutely get you squared away. So don't think by any stretch you are stuck. Whether you need a new roof, whether you need new foundation or foundation work, that is, whether you need new flooring, whether you need a lot of cosmetics, whether you need to upgrade bathrooms, kitchen, etc. All these things can be taken care of so we can get you top dollar. Now, a lot of people will say, well, why don't we just sell their house as is? It's a little bit of a mess, but you know what? We're just going to sell it as is because we don't want to deal with all the repairs. We can certainly do that. But guess what? You as a seller are going to be leaving money on the table, because right now with the dollar figures up, we can sell you a top dollar. That means we've got room to get the repairs done and still make you money. And so why would you leave that money on the table? Why would you sell your house to an investor who's going to take it pennies on the dollar just because they're going to do all the repairs for you? Why would you leave that money on the table? Nobody in their right mind would do that. And sometimes you get so frustrated with your situation, you can't stand it. If you're walking downhill when you're going from the kitchen to the living room, or, from the living room to your bedroom, you've got to walk uphill and the foundation is that bad. You just don't want to deal with it anymore. Well, don't check out mentally, okay? Let us help you out. We will figure it out. We'll get the property fixed, and then we can get you out of there, and more than likely you're going to have money in your pocket on the way out. So if you're in one of those situations, give us a call. We'll help you. Like I said, helping 2 clients this week with those same issues, and we're going to get them out of there and get them squared away. Folks, Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate, law, and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com, that's txtitleattorney.com, or call 817-310-0136.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
Hey folks, we're back with Inside Real Estate. It's Mike Kruizinga. Website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. We're back for another insurance segment with J.C. Harder of the J.C. Harder Goosehead Company. JCHarderAgency.com is the website. Phone number 214-643-6108 for all your insurance needs, home, auto, toys, otherwise. This is going to be another part of our rolling segment series talking about the different brands, the different providers that JC is able to connect you with, because that's the great thing about JC. He can shop all of these brands, all of these providers to match up you and your situation with the best provider to getting you the best policies at the best rates. JC, welcome back.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So let's get into this week's segment and who we're going to be talking about this week. This is ASI?
Yes, this we're going to shorten it to ASI just for convenience, but it stands for American Strategic Insurance. And why you won't see them on TV doing commercials is because they're actually Progressive's home insurance partner. So when you see Flo all over the place talking about home insurance and bundling and packaging, this is who they write everything through.
Okay, gotcha.
So, first off, as far as financial stability, of course, they're A-rated. So, again, they have the money to pay out in case something happens. They're actually based in Florida, and why that's unique is where, there's so many storms in the past 15 years that hit Florida, New Orleans, the coast of Texas. And so ASI saw a niche, to go out there and, be a top-notch provider like a Safeco or a Travelers, but where those companies won't write in the coastal areas, ASI will.
Okay. And so that's a pretty big deal. I mean, obviously insurance is based on risk and evaluating risk and managing risk. And so these folks were not getting taken care of, and so ASI is able to come in there and take care of those folks there.
Absolutely. Now, they have a very, even though they're after the coastal areas, but they write all across the state. So I have tons of policies with them here in the Metroplex. And they're just like Safeco and Travelers, they're really good in their niche. So, good credit people, low claims people, newer homes, of course, they have outstanding product. And if it's even a new build, they have some perks, that some other companies don't have, where most of the times you get a new purchase discount for 1 year, maybe 2 or 3, which on a new build with ASI, you're going to get a builder discount for the first 5 years of that property.
Sure. And although they are in maybe some high-risk areas where things do happen, as you say, they're A-rated and they can handle it, and they can get everybody covered.
Absolutely. Now, another thing is, like I said, they are partnered with Progressive. So if we're looking at, combining and packaging the auto, you get your biggest discount between the Progressive and the ASI. However, if Progressive just does not make sense, or someone else, within our array of carriers is much better on the auto, you can still get up to a 5% discount on the home, even though the auto is not with Progressive. So basically, as long as the auto is within our agency, you're going to get a discount on the, you're still going to get a package or a bundle.
Right. And something to point out, folks, is, this series that we're doing, it's kind of a rolling series on each of the companies, each of the providers that JC works with and is able to get you connected with. We're not promoting them as saying, hey, go talk to them, because guess what? If you talk to an agent with them, obviously they want to put you in their box, but that box may not be where you need to be for the best situation for you. But what we're trying to do is show how extensive the knowledge JC has and what great expertise he has, and knowing all of these companies to figure out which company is the one to match you up with.
That's exactly right. Good point, Mike. Here recently, they just took over second place as far as the most homes insured in Texas, right behind Safeco. So, again, they wouldn't be growing like that. They wouldn't be accepting all these new risks if they weren't, doing it correctly. So they write the all-risk policy, which we've talked about a couple weeks ago. And, again, they do include most of the enhanced water coverage. For example, a lot of companies will max out at $25,000 of foundation. ASI will give you the full 15%. So if you're getting to those higher home values, those $300,000 and $400,000 homes, you're going to have, a much higher foundation coverage too for those slab leaks, which is obviously can be a big payout.
Absolutely. And folks, that's one of the great things about our great country and our great state. Free market competition is awesome, and this is what JC does. The competition that's out there, he's allowed to take advantage of that, figure out which one of these competitors in the insurance industries is the best match for you folks.
One other just a little true recent story. I had a client here actually in the White Rock area in the M Streets. Washing line broke while he was in Mexico with his family on vacation. The sitter that was coming over checking on the pets, obviously, noticed the damage, turned off the water. We got a claim started and everything like that. There was a lot of damage. It was a couple of hours before she saw it. And I was just blown away by the service, and so was the client, who is also another. He's in the real estate field as well, so he's has expertise in the area in a sense, and he got transferred to a special claims adjuster within ASI because the water loss exceeded $100,000. Now, he had a newborn baby and a wife and a dog, and they put him, the first apartment they lined up, he was unhappy with. They got in something that had a washing machine, sink, kitchen, so they could fully live. But needless to say is that it was over $100,000 claim, and they were back in their house within 2.5, 3 months. And, that specific real estate professional has sent more leads in the past couple months after that claim than he has in the past 2 or 3 years. Of course, we're always going to keep premium in mind, but, pinching on little items, can cost you a big time in the long run. And, he was just very, very thankful that, we stayed true and, gave him the better coverage option.
Right. Yeah, because when something happens, it does happen, and it could be a pretty big happening for you. And it doesn't take much time for water to do some serious damage. It took a few hours for this to be caught, which is fairly quick, but it only takes a few minutes for water to do some serious damage. And he was able to get this great experience and back in the home pretty darn quickly. That's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Another little unique perk with them, if it is a Progressive bundle, we're one of the only agents in Texas. We're on their preferred platform with ASI and Progressive. So we're one of the only agents that offers the PHA or Progressive Home Advantage. And what they'll do is they'll share a deductible. So if you have hail damage to your roof and your cars, they're going to basically waive one of the deductibles there. Typically the auto one, since the home is going to have much more damage, but they're going to waive one of your deductibles and only mark you down as one claim instead of hitting your auto and your homeowners.
Wow, that's very friendly right there. And it's kind of surprising to think of that. And so that's why, look, folks, you got to get with JC so we can get you connected with the right provider. This is the type of experience you want when something happens.
Last little piece on ASI, they do write a lot of different lines. So, of course, your homeowners, like we've talked about, we can bundle with your auto, even though they don't write the auto. But they do the really good landlord policy. They do condos. They do renters. They do secondary properties. So they are a one-stop shop within all your home insurance needs.
Very good. Well, folks, it's been another great segment with J.C. Harder from the J.C. Harder Goosehead Insurance Agency. Website, jcharderagency.com. Phone number 214-643-6108 for all your insurance needs. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few.
Millennium Title Carroll PC Real Estate is a unique multi-service real estate title, law, and real estate investment firm that handles over 150 commercial and residential closings each month. Their real estate, legal, and tax services range from purchases to refinances to short sales and reverse mortgages. They can handle all of your real estate, legal, and tax planning needs. Their experience offers clients and investors a comprehensive perspective in managing their real estate law and investment needs. Visit txtitleattorney.com. That's txtitleattorney.com or call 817-310-0136.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 21173167330 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
The J.C. Harder Insurance Agency in Uptown Dallas has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the J.C. Harder Insurance Agency Network. For a quote today on all your insurance needs, stop by J.C.'s office on McKinney Avenue in Uptown Dallas. Call 214-643-6108 or visit jcharderagency.com. That's 214-643-6108 or jcharderagency.com.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, Mike Kruizinga. We're back Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. If you want to talk to us, by the way, 888-787-KLIF. Thanks, JC. Another great insurance segment. That was good stuff. Boy, I tell you, I talked way too long early on. So that means I've got less time to talk about all the other stuff I want to talk about. You know what? Time flies so quickly, and it's so frustrating. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, folks. Hey, let's get into, we like to talk about high school sports, high school football, and we ran through the brackets of where we were last week, and I wanted to run through those again today real quick. Going to try to rapid fire some stuff. So let's see where we are in the brackets. You know, we're about to head into the finals this next coming week. State championships for all the divisions for high school football. Although in 6-man, we do already have championship games that have already occurred. So 6-man, D2, we had Richland Springs over Follett, 72. This was a huge one, 72-26. 6-man D1. Abbott over Crowell, 40-30. So those are state championship numbers or figures, numbers and figures, scores. Hello, scores, by the way. Let's move on to where we are in the rest. We're going to go up to 6A D1. Okay, 6A D1. Here's where we're at. We're going to have North Shore versus Westlake. North Shore took out Judson 23-17. Westlake took out Allen 23-17. Ended Allen's huge, long-time victory run. Huge story about that. But in the 6A D1, we're going to have North Shore against Westlake. So that's the lineup for a 6A D1 championship game. 6A D2, we're going to have Katy, who knocked out Steele 38-0 in a shutout versus Lake Travis, who took out Mansfield 49-21. So 6A D2, we're going to have Lake Travis and Katy state championship. Let's go to 5A D1. 5A D1, Mansfield Lake Ridge took out Aledo 42-21. So that was not expected from my perspective. Although Mansfield Lake Ridge has been playing really well and done really well this year, I just didn't see them taking out Aledo, but they did by the score 42-21. So Mansfield Lake Ridge heading to the finals, and they're going to take on George Ranch, who knocked out Vista Ridge. George Ranch knocked out Vista Ridge 42-23. So Mansfield Lake Ridge and George Ranch, they're going to be state finals, 5AD1. Let's go to 5AD2. 5AD2. Hey, Frisco Lone Star took out Lake Dallas 55-41, and then they're going to go on against Cedar Park, who took out Ridge Point 38-17. So 5AD2, we're going to be Frisco Lone Star versus Cedar Park in the state final. Let's go 4AD1. 4AD1, Argyle took out Wiley 24-17, and La Vega took out Carthage 39-3 in a rout. So La Vega will take on Argyle. That's going to be 4AD1. Let's go 4AD2. 4AD2, we're going to have Salina taking on Gilmer. Salina took out Gilmer by 5, 49-44. And then West Orange took out Cuero 48-21. So we're going to have Salina versus West Orange Stark. That's going to be in your 4AD2 final. And let's get into 3A. Brock was over Mineola 38-22, and the Cameron Yo 40-14 over Mathis. So Brock will take on Cameron Yo in the state finals, 3AD1. 3AD2, Wascom took out Adelaide 28-24, and Franklin in a low-scoring game 10-7 over East Bernard. So we've got Wascom and Franklin in the 3AD2 final. Let's round things out with 2A. 2AD1 Canadian. Huge win over Crawford, 61-14, and Refugio, 46 over Lovelady, 28. So Refugio and Canadian in the 2A D1 final. 2A D2, Albany over Seagrave, 12-7, low-scoring game. And then Munster, big loss, 7-40, Bremen, or big win, sorry. So in the final, 2A D2, we're going to have Bremen and Albany. So that's going to round out the high school playoff brackets for football. Like I said, we did have the 6-man championships already. We went through those, and the rest are going to be coming up this week. So we'll have some state champions new by the next show, and hopefully be having, as we move into the next few shows, next few weeks, and into the earlier year, hopefully we get some of these head coaches to come on in the show and talk to us a little bit about how their playoff run went and all that good stuff. So, hey, folks, we're going to come on right back inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. Back in a few.
Sellers, how would you like your home sold guaranteed? Buyers, how would you like your bid guaranteed to win? Well, it's real simple. Call Mike Kruizinga with Chris Arnold Premier Realty and ask about their guarantee programs for both buyers and sellers. No one beats Mike's professional listing and marketing services for all price ranges, including luxuries and ranches. And few have the knowledge and patience to take first-time buyers from renting to home ownership in a tough market. Visit DFWMetroplexRealestate.com and mention you heard this on the radio. And listen to Mike Sundays, 8 a.m. on KLIF for Inside Real Estate.
Skin cancer is the most common form of cancer in the U.S. In 2011, there were more than 65,000 cases of melanoma, the most deadly form of skin cancer. Melanoma can spread to other parts of the body and causes over 9,000 deaths every year. It can be caused by too much exposure to ultraviolet rays from the sun or other sources, such as indoor tanning. Effective community skin cancer prevention programs could prevent an estimated 21,000 cases of melanoma and save $250 million each year by 2030. Everyone can help prevent skin cancer. You can protect yourself and your children, encourage your community to increase shade in public areas, and help support employers as they protect workers from the sun. There are many low-cost and easy ways to help your entire community be sun-safe. To learn more about sun safety and skin protection, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks. Mike Kruizinga, Inside Real Estate. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. I tell you, we are running out of time. I'm going to try to rapid fire through a little bit of headlines and tell you what's going on in real estate and kind of in the area. Hey, in November, I keep talking about how the DFW area is growing, and Texas is growing, and this is just another point to that. Texas added 24,100 private sector jobs in November. And this is going to be according to ADP Regional Employment Report. So, wow, that is huge. 24,000 private sector jobs Texas brought on. Trade, transportation, and utilities, top industry of growth in November, which added about 6,000 new jobs. And then the professional and business services was about 5,000 jobs. So overall, about 24,000 new jobs in November. That's absolute huge number. Housing market. Boy, I tell you, we're going to be somewhere around about 24, and this is with a B, bravo, billion, about 24 billion in sales by year end. We got to about 22 billion in November. Strongest housing market since a long time. We did 22 billion and should be about 24 billion by the end of the year in sales. It's huge numbers. And so I keep talking about that. That's just a great news for everybody. They're saying averages homes are selling about 45 days, which is really huge. And, generally I tell you honestly, we're doing things a lot quicker than that, really. So these numbers, maybe they're close, but I think we're doing things a lot quicker than that. Average sales price in DFW is about $256 and change, 8% increase year over year. So great news. I keep telling you every week how great things are going, and that's just more good news that yes, indeed it is. New 20-story tower in Uptown coming. This is going to be coming up probably 2017, 2018. 20-story, 262-unit luxury residential and retail tower. It's going to be over here, 3200 McKinney Ave in Dallas in Uptown. And, my office is right there in Uptown. Our office is right above me, Kruizinga, which is one of my favorite all-time restaurants, by the way. So you can always get me to buy you lunch and dinner right there downstairs from the office. Tower should include about 5,500 square foot Cafe Express restaurant and 1,730 square feet of space for McKinney Ave Transit. So another Uptown Tower coming online. Industrial side of things, 250-acre industrial park in Lancaster getting picked up by MetLife and Panattoni. And this is going to be probably one of the largest industrial parks in the area by the time it's built out, which is going to be, in probably about a year or two. Multi-phase built-to-suit industrial park includes 4 buildings totaling about 3.9 million square feet of industrial space with the ability to accommodate anything from probably 300,000 square feet to better. So big or small, they're going to be packing them in over there in Lancaster. So, I tell you, we're not only growing residential, commercial, but industrial as well, and we need to have it all. And DFW, we're doing great with that for sure. More stories to tell you, but they're going to have to wait a bit. You know what? We're going to come on back. We're going to talk mortgage talk. Mike Kruizinga, Inside Real Estate. We'll be back in a few.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas. 1 in 300 million. The odds of a daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland, spending 11 weeks at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts. 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 7 Grammy Awards. 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of selling over 40 million records. 1 in 800,000. The odds of this musician and performer having a child diagnosed with autism. 1 in 68. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
KLIF News and Information, keeping you informed around the clock every day. The resources of our local news team stays on top of the news as it breaks, and that means you are on top of the news. Traffic information every morning when you need it. Lock us in with traffic on the 5s at 5, 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55 past the hour. And it all comes your way from our home right in the nerve center of Dallas, Victory Park, next to the American Airlines Center. News and Information 570 AM, KLIF.
Hey, folks, we are back. It's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga, website InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Time to head on into a mortgage segment. Back in studio, we got Terry Wagner from the Supreme Lending Rocky Martin team. Website's going to be RockyMartin.com, Rocky with an IE. Phone number 866-607-5667, 866-607-5667. We're going to talk a little bit about things to do at the end of the year and things to think about at the end of the year. Terry, how we doing?
Good morning, Mike. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm very, very, very good.
Good.
So let's talk end of year. I know at the end of the year we're always thinking about the holidays and all these other things like vacation time and not working, but also, we do take some time off, and it's time to maybe think about the year and maybe things to do in the new year. And a lot of people think about financials, and home ownership is financial, and there's a lot of things that go into it with the mortgage and with the insurance, etc. So let's, kind of remind the folks out there about some things that maybe they need to be thinking about. And so if they take a few hours one day while they're off on the holidays to maybe, focus on some of this stuff.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, it is a great time, and a lot of people do kind of focus in on their finances, and a lot of people will make charitable donations at the end of the year and things like that. It's a great time to do all of that.
Sure.
But while you're doing that, it's also a great time to maybe make an extra payment on your mortgage if you can.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get year-end bonuses. And that's a great way to save you more than just what you earned in that year-end bonus. A good rule of thumb, and I try to tell all my customers this, if you make one extra payment every year on your mortgage, let's say you have a 30-year mortgage, you make one extra payment every year, you're going to knock about 7 years off your mortgage. So instead of having a 30-year mortgage, now you have a 21-year mortgage.
Right.
So a lot of folks, what they'll do is take that full monthly mortgage payment and divide it by 12 and pay that each month. But just like we were saying, if you get a year-end bonus and it's easier for you to do, end of the year is a great time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not make sure that you're knocking down that mortgage to as few years as possible? And a lot of people, may sign up for the 15-year or the 20-year, 25-year, but whatever you're signing up for, you can still knock off life to your mortgage.
Correct.
Either, like you say, doing it every month, but a lot of people don't do that, and, they'll save their money, maybe utilize it other ways during the year. But yeah, hit it at the end of the year. This is a great time to remember to do that. And if you can just think, okay, and you forgot about it, you're like a lot of people, you forget, but you get to the end of the year and you're like, oh man, I need to do that. Do it right now, because if you do that every year, I tell you, you're knocking down your life for the mortgage.
Right. Well, and one other thing to remember when you're doing that, if you're making an extra payment to your mortgage company, you need to tell them how you want that payment applied. So you want to designate that additional payment as a principal reduction.
Right.
Not just because, they could spread it out over your escrow account. We've talked about escrow accounts before, and principal and interest. It needs to go to principal only reduction.
Right.
So make sure that they specify that.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good point, because you would think maybe they would just do that automatically for you, but they don't. You do need to specify that it strictly goes to principal.
Right, because some people may want to pay their escrow account for the year. And so they don't want to read your mind. They want to make sure and apply that money like you want them to apply it. So be sure and specify how you want that money to go.
Absolutely.
We also were wanted to talk a little bit, Mike, about if you're selling at the end of the year. And the advantages to doing that, and disadvantages to doing that. Some folks maybe don't want to sell at the end of the year because you brought this up. They feel like they're paying their taxes twice.
Right.
Right now, in Texas, our property taxes are due.
Yes.
And if you have those escrowed with your current mortgage company, they may not be paid yet. A lot of mortgage companies don't pay those until the very end of the year. Tax bills come out and they're due on December the 1st, but they don't have to be paid on December the 1st. So if you're selling your home and you're closing in December, you're going to have to pay your yearly the whole year's taxes at closing.
Right.
And then you've already got that sitting in your escrow account because you've been paying it all year long. So you feel like you've paid it twice. Now, you're going to get your escrow payment, the funds in your escrow account back after you sell that home, but you're probably going to have to wait 30 to 45 days.
Sure.
And who wants to pay those twice and then have to wait for a refund on it?
Exactly. And
so if you're selling, maybe what you can do is call, you're selling, you're going to close in 2 to 3 weeks, call your mortgage company and ask them, will you go ahead and pay the taxes on this? I know you have the tax bill. I received my copy. Can we go ahead and schedule that for that to be paid because I'm selling the house and I don't want to have to pay it twice?
Right.
So just make that call. Some may not, but at least it's worth a call.
Yeah, it's worth a try. I mean, as soon as you go under contract, or as soon as you go on the market to sell, if you're going to sell in this time period, really, if you're going to sell in the last quarter at all, when you start to figure that out, okay, I'm going to need to sell in the last quarter, especially towards the end of the year as we get in November, December. Yeah, absolutely. Make that call. I mean, all they can do is say no, but, generally they're going to, most of them will cooperate with you to an extent. But yeah, I mean, you're right, because generally property taxes in most counties are not going to be late until the end of February.
Right.
And so there are some mortgage companies, servicers out there that may not actually pay it until January, even though they ought to be paid by the end of December. They may not pay it until January or even early February because it's not generally in most areas due late until the end of February. And in some areas, they may give into the March.
Right.
So, and obviously there are some lenders out there that may want to be holding on to your money a little bit longer than they should, but you're right. So, and it's kind of frustrating if you're going to sell late in the year. And if the title company cannot prove the taxes have been paid already, and in some cases you're good, maybe your provider, mortgage provider has already paid them, in a timely manner, and you're good to go, and you don't have to worry about paying that extra. But it can be a large sum. You might be looking at 5, 6, 7, depending on the price point that your home is in. It could be quite a bit. But even the average home here in the DFW area is probably $5,000 a year annual taxes, and in some cases that might be all you're making off the sale of the house if you have little equity. Now, most people aren't in that situation right now. Most people have a fair amount of equity I'm seeing right now in the property, but still, even if you're an average house and it's $5,000, that adds up. And so you got to get, maybe you're planning to use some of that money for moving expenses, and you got to wait 30, 45 days to get that.
Absolutely.
Make that call, like Terry said, to your mortgage provider. See if you can kind of head that off at the pass, so you don't have to deal with that. And then, of course, if they're not going to pay them early for you and you are going to have to get that money back later, make sure they've got your new address.
Right.
Because how many times do I see that the escrow refund check goes to the old address and they don't have access to it? And for whatever reason, they can't get a hold of the new owner, and you've got to cut a new check, and it just delays getting that money back to you. So make sure you take care of that.
Right. Instead of waiting 30 to 45 days, you may be waiting up to 60 days if it gets lost in the mail and what Mike was talking about.
Exactly.
Another great thing that I think we'll talk a little for JC here now. One thing that I think people should maybe check at the end of the year is check your insurance rates. Check and see that you still got the best deal. JC was the one that told me he re-quotes or re-looks at my rates every 2 years. And what a better time to do it at the end of the year.
Right.
And if you, just to kind of help everyone understand that, if you have your insurance escrowed in your mortgage account, and you think you can't switch insurance companies, well, you certainly can. Even if they have already paid your insurance premium. Let's say you bought in October and your insurance is due every October. You can still switch your insurance in December.
Right.
You just simply get your service provider, hopefully Supreme Lending, the new insurance information so that they can pay that new bill. And then one tricky thing you might want to work out there, and we'll let maybe JC expand on this a little bit for us if he wants later. But the mortgage company is going to pay that new policy for you, even though they've already paid. So guess what that's going to do to your escrow account? It's going to make you short.
Right.
Because now they've paid 2 insurance policies out of that escrow account.
Right.
But you're going to get a refund because your lender has already paid. We'll use the same example. In October, your other policy, but you only used 2 months of that, so you'll get a refund. So when you get that refund, simply send it into your mortgage company as a escrow payment,
right?
So that you're not short.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they've already sent a check to your insurance provider,
right?
And that check just goes once a year, and it's getting covered out of that escrow account. And if you do change policies, then yeah, you're going to have to get any unused premium back from your insurance company. And once you get that back, send it right back into your escrow account to the mortgage provider,
right? To
get that squared away, because you don't want your escrow shortage to change that mortgage payments, because it's just a temporary quick fix, and you can get that taken care of. And you can do that, at any time during the year. At any time during the year, if you decide you want to change your homeowner's policy, go ahead and do that. And you're right. I mean, end of year, honestly, take 3-4 hours, take half a day. Get up one morning and say, if you're on vacation and during the holidays and you don't have to deal with any holiday stuff that day, just say, hey, you know what? From 9 to noon, I'm going to review my mortgage,
right,
my insurance, my escrows, maybe your life insurance, auto insurance. Maybe you're just going to review all that stuff because it's end of year. That's a great way to do it. And as part of that, you can do this as well.
Right, absolutely. And like Mike said, review your escrow accounts, review your mortgage, make sure that those payments are being applied like you want them to and like you think they should be. And certainly give your service provider a call if that's not going like you think it should.
Yeah, absolutely.
One more thing that end of year is a perfect time to do is to refinance your house.
Yep.
If you, again, we keep kind of harping today on escrow accounts, but if you have an escrow account where your taxes and insurance are paid with your mortgage payment, end of the year is a perfect time to do that, because when you refinance your home, we have to set up a new escrow account. And there's a certain formula to do that. So give us a call, because it would be too lengthy for me to explain that to you here, but give us a call and we can certainly go over that with you. But it is a great time to refinance your home. And still, too, it's a great time to refinance your home just because of the interest rates.
Right. Yeah, doubly good, because not only are the interest rates, amazing, all-time lows.
Right.
You want to refinance. If you bought at any point in the past, even maybe a short time back, you're probably still going to do better by refinancing today. So not only is that a great benefit just alone by itself, but also, like you say, basically, folks, if you refinance at the end of the year, it really helps with your prepays. You got lower prepays at the end of the year with at least worrying about property taxes,
right,
and whatnot. So that's a great time to do that. Huge benefit, because a lot of people will roll that in potentially to their mortgage, or do different things with a refinance. But yeah, and we can do a whole nother segment on that, but great time at the end of the year to do that.
Another thing about refinancing your home, let's say several years back, you got an ARM loan because the rates were so incredibly low. Well, we are, without getting too in depth on interest rates, we are looking in the next several years, most likely interest rates are going to go up on us. So if your ARM is expiring, what a perfect time to refinance into a fixed rate.
Right.
You did a good job because you got an ARM and your rates stayed low through this period of low interest rates. But now may be the time to fix that on a fixed rate and do that refinance now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, folks, hopefully you're listening to all this good stuff. We just went through a lot of really good information for end of the year. We talked about make that extra payment. If you're going to stay with that current mortgage that you have right now, don't forget to make that extra payment. It knocks up generally about 7 years, and keep doing that every year. Make sure you designate that towards your principal. Double check on your insurance. Make sure you're good there. We can always get you with JC Harder over at Goosehead. Make sure you've got the right policy. So it's a great time to review your insurance information. Escrow reconciliation, looking over your escrow account, making sure everything's good there. And of course, if you're selling at the end of the year, kind of how to help yourself in making sure that you get your escrow refund back on your property taxes, or at least get them paid right before you get closed, so that way you don't kind of have that double issue right there with having to pay and then get the money back, since you paid it all year long anyway. So how to work through that. And then, of course, if you just need to refinance, now's a great time to review that and get with us on the refinance. So a lot of great information end of year. Folks, it's been Terry Wagner with Supreme Lending Rockwall, Rocky Martin team. RockyMartin.com is the website. That's Rocky with an IE. Phone number where they're always ready for all your mortgage refinance needs. 866-607-5667. Folks, it's Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga. We'll be back in a few.
Neither the hosts nor the guests or contributors of the show Inside Real Estate with Mike Kruizinga are attorneys, CPAs, tax advisors, or investment advisors, and are not providing legal advice during the course of the show. If you need professional legal advice or services in any of those categories, please seek the appropriate professional. The host is a licensed real estate agent in Texas with the Chris Arnold Premier Realty Brokerage, a fair housing broker and member of the MLS. Texas real estate agents are prohibited from providing legal advice.
I have proof ISIS terrorists will be sneaking into America with those Syrian refugees. Hi there, Grant Stinchfield here. It turns out ISIS is in possession of the one piece of equipment that will guarantee entrance into America. What is it? Tune in Monday starting at 3. The Stinchfield Report, 570 KLIF.
News and information 570 AM.
96.3 FM HD2. KLIF Dallas. KSCS FM HD2 Fort Worth. KLIF.com.
A Cumulus station.